Hello, this is Ricky Pound coming to you today with a brand new haircut. Hope you like it. Today I'm going to be talking about one specific type of Meissen decoration. This is often known as Watteau-esque decoration after Jean Antoine Watteau, who was a very famous French painter, but unfortunately only lived to the age of 37. He suffered from tuberculosis. He did actually come to England on a couple of occasions to try and see if this could be cured or alleviated, but unfortunately no hope. And as I said, at the age of 37 he died. He was collected quite widely in France and England, and from around 1740 his engravings started to be used on Meissen porcelain to quite a large extent. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you some of those Meissen examples on essentially domestic ware, so we're talking saucers and teacups. So I'm going to start off with one of the largest ones in my collection, and it is this. As you can see, it is absolutely beautiful. It is painted in puce. You have three characters, one with what looks like a spear, another one indicating towards a lady that sat on the floor. In the background you have got obelisks. Now obelisks and funerary urns and occasionally pyramids do appear on this kind of scene at this particular time. They're very reminiscent of a type of painting that was actually named for the kind of scenes that Watteau were doing in the gardens with these kind of figures, courtiers, etc., lovers, known as fete galanti. And some of these were rather large, and so what I'll be showing you today are really in that tradition. He also occasionally added other figures as well from other genres such as commedia dell'arte, which is basically Italian theatre figures, which you start to see as well in some of the paintings from Meissen added in really from around 1740 onwards. Now, as you can see here, you've got this beautifully gilded border as well. If I turn it round, you of course got the Meissen cross swords, and here you can just about make out the letter N, which is the gilder's number, and of course you've got other flowers in puce around the outside. Now, there's been some debate about what these kind of containers are used for. Were they used, for instance, for spoons? Were they spoon stands? Were they used for butter? They were actually for neither of those, although you could use them, I suppose, if you really wanted to. They were actually used as teapot stands, and you can just imagine your teapot sat very proudly on this stand or this base, or presenter as they're sometimes known, and it would look very, very attractive. So the second example I'm going to show you is of what we call a quatrefoil type, named after the shape, which is essentially a flower. And you can see here figures at the top and the bottom in these lovely panels, and then you've got other panels to the left and right with yellow grounds with extra flowers in there. Now if I get up close, you can see a lady, for instance, at the top next to an obelisk with a child, and if I turn it round, another figure with a child against a ball finial and a little support there as well, and you've got this very intricate gilding as well separating the borders. I will just say that this type of Meissen decoration was highly copied in the 19th century, particularly by a lady called Helen Wolfenson, but the quality is nowhere near that of the originals from the 1740s. Completely different, and once you get to know about Meissen porcelain, you'll be able to tell the difference straight away. Now if I turn it on its back, you can see the Meissen cross swords, and then just up here you've got a gilder's letter. This is probably from around 1740, something like that. Again, absolutely beautiful. The next one I'm going to show you, again, the quality of the painting here is absolutely lovely. You've got a gentleman, you've got a lady on the floor. It looks like he's about to offer his hand so she can get up. Behind you again, you've got this very odd looking obelisks. Obelisks don't really look like this, but they're a kind of mixture in these Meissen paintings between obelisks and pyramids. Sometimes you'll see funerary urns as well. I'll just tip that back there so you can have a really good look at that. And also have a look at that absolutely superb gilding pattern around the outside. It's hard for you to get an idea of how small these are, because these saucers are probably about 12-13 centimeters in diameter. So to be able to paint on this scale is truly fantastic. And then on the back you've got these absolutely delightful flowers, European flowers, interspersed with you can see bugs here and other flowers. Now basically Meissen thought nothing of putting creepy crawlies onto dishes and teapots and teacups. It was just accepted, you know, you would eat and you would drink off them and you wouldn't even think about it. For them they were incredibly decorative items, and then you can see here how beautifully that has been painted. Now there was one person in particular that provided an extra element to flowers and creepy crawlies, someone called Klinger, who give them shadows to make them actually appear as if they were coming off the porcelain. Very successful he was as well. And here's another example. This one is in puce. You can see a lady there and a gentleman. He's pointing off in the direction somewhere far away. We've got another obelisk behind him. You'll notice that virtually all of these have got obelisks in as well, and they're sat in this garden setting. On the rear you have the cross swords, but there are no flowers on this particular example. The next one up is another Meissen example. Again, you've got a lady and you've got a gentleman. You can see them there. Again, you've got this obelisk device in the background. This one's a little bit bizarre because it looks much more like a pyramid than it does, it has to be said, an obelisk. There they are though in a landscape setting. You've got this fantastic gilding once again around the outside. And if I turn it over, you've got these beautiful, there's typically 3 sprays of flowers in these 1740s examples, 1730s, 1740s examples. Beautifully painted again. You've got the odd flower, and you've got the odd bug there, that's a ladybird. There you can see the cross swords, and there is probably a gilder's initial somewhere around there as well. Another example, and I will just say none of these really come from the same service, they all come from separate services, but they are quite similar in some of the decorative themes. So there, for instance, you've got a lady, you've got a child, and another obelisk in this they're all here, you can notice. They're really in the middle of the painting, of the composition of the porcelain. And you've got this lovely border as well, gilded border, lovely pattern. And as I've just said, you've got these 3 splays of flowers. In the centre you've got the cross swords, and you've got a gilder's mark in the middle. I think it's worth saying that with Meissen the gilders seem to use the same letter or the same number throughout their career there. So everything they produced would have the same initial or number, and this was a way, of course, that would ensure they got paid the right amount. And it was really the only way that anybody could recognise what they had produced. Saying that, each service would have its own unique gilding pattern, a little bit like a fingerprint, which within conjunction with the painting, etc., would be able to tie it to a particular service. So the next one I'm going to show you are the cups. Now I say you can get these in tea bowls, they are more readily available at the time as teacups. This is an absolutely beautiful example. It goes with the puce saucer I showed you earlier. A lady and a gentleman, he's having a talk with her. Oh, just here on the right in front of you now, you've got a neoclassical urn. This was, of course, a time of the rise of neoclassicism, a return really to looking back at Rome and Greece and maybe even at Egypt before that. beautifully painted flower, maybe a tulip in the middle, and as I turn it round you can see 2 painted flowers there as well. Another one I've got, lady and gentleman in the centre there. He's got what appears to be a stick of some description, maybe an obelisk in the background there, and more flowers. This one has got a rather large bug. Wouldn't like to see one of those, particularly on me, I have to admit. Inside, another painted flower, beautiful. Here we've got an interior which is gilded with this pattern as well, just to make it a little bit more opulent. And again, the famous crossed swords, used from around 1723 by Meissen as a way, well they thought anyway, of protecting themselves against forgeries. And the last one I'm going to show you, it's one of my favourite. It has these kind of scenes that I've already been talking about, of a man, a lady, maybe baby in the background. But here we have what appears to be a figure from the Commedia dell'arte, and this is Harlequin. If I can get him into focus there, you can see him with the lady. He's got a baton, etc. There you go. And there's the lady. Again, beautifully painted. The inside you've got flowers. Again, you've got a gilder's pattern on the inside. You've got a gilded handle as well. Again, you've got little little insects scattered around. And cross swords with a gilder's letter there, a double letter. So there you have it. I've shown you today approximately nearly 10 examples of Meissen dating from around 1740 to 1750. This Watteau decoration was very much in vogue at this particular time, and for me is one of the most elaborate, the most beautiful types of decoration that Meissen were doing at this particular time. Thank you for listening.